Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be centered around my last video, which was my health and fitness journey. If you haven't seen it, go watch it, come back to this video. I got a lot of questions just wanting me to go more into detail about my journey, and so I did a Q&A on my Instagram. You guys asked me a lot of questions, and this video is just me answering some of those, and yeah. Yup. Oh, biggest mood booster right here, I'm telling you. Okay, Coffee Bean. If you know, you know. My original go-to order is always an iced oat milk latte with cinnamon. Like, there's nothing better. If you haven't had it, this is your sign. Especially Coffee Bean. I haven't been here in a minute. Probably like, I don't know, beginning of quarantine. But I was by one and I was like, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. I'll give it a try. And I'm not disappointed. Would return. Would return, Coffee Bean. Wow, that slaps. Okay. Alright, we got our lip liner on. Let's get into it. Alrighty, I got a lot of questions from you guys asking like basic questions, which I'm just gonna try and answer right now. So first things first, obviously I told you guys I eat 80% whole foods and 20% whatever else I want, and a lot of people were like, what does that look like? Are you very strict about it? So no, I try to not be strict with anything food related, because that's when I feel like it can get unhealthy. Like, food is just food. I try and eat 80% whole foods just because whole foods are just what make me feel my best. Like, I have found recipes with whole foods that I genuinely like look forward to eating on a daily basis. So that's why I intuitively eat 80%. I say 80%. I'm not like tracking all the whole foods I'm eating and tracking the 20% of other foods I'm eating, because that's just pointless to me. Like, what's the point? That's when I feel like it could get unhealthy, if you're like tracking your whole foods. I just make sure that I'm fueling my body with foods that make me feel good. So a day-to-day, like full day of eating for me can look like oats in the morning or a smoothie. If you know, you know. My cement smoothie in the morning is what brings me life. She's so good. Gotta try that recipe if you haven't yet. It's on my Instagram. Or oats. Like, honestly, those are my go-to breakfasts. Breakfasts? Yeah. And then for lunch, I'll usually have anything between avocado toast, a tuna salad, tuna sandwich, pesto pasta, like just stuff that I love. And then for dinner, sometimes I'll have a big harvest bowl with like sweet potatoes, chicken, mushrooms. That's been my go-to lately. It's just like a big bowl with greens, avocado, mushroom, onion, like all the good stuff just in one bowl, and you call it dinner. I mean, that is dinner. But that's like my go-to like daily type of stuff when I'm trying to cook at home. And then I would say like the 20% other things are like little snacks, like processed snacks. Going out to eat on the weekend. Like, on the weekend, if I'm craving mac and cheese, I'm gonna go somewhere that I'm craving mac and cheese, and I'm gonna order that. Like, you'll rarely, honestly, like, it's very rare that you'll see me ordering like a salad when I go out on the weekend, just because like I would say like my 20% is like when I go out and I like want like In-N-Out, Chick-fil-A, or I go to a restaurant. But I'm not strict on, like I said, like during the week I do try and eat like 80% whole foods and just like cook all my meals at home. That's what like I crave. But let's say me and my friends want to go out for Taco Tuesday. I'm not necessarily gonna be like, no, I gotta stay to my 80% whole foods diet this week. Like, no, we're not doing that. Like, if I want the tacos and I want to go out for a celebration, I'm training my brain like, hey, that's okay. You know, you can go out during the week. Like, that's not gonna ruin your progress. And then the next day I'll have, you know, a smoothie for breakfast. Like, it's all about balance. That's what I'm learning, is like, I don't need to restrict myself during the week, the weekend, nothing. Like, it's just like finding what works for you. So basically, intuitive eating is not gonna look the same for everyone. Like, I honestly just want to make it clear that just because like I lost weight with intuitive eating doesn't mean everyone will, and that's not the message I'm trying to preach. It's like intuitive eating is the new weight loss hack. Like, no, it's the health hack. It's the prioritizing your mental health hack. It's the just prioritizing balance. Like, that's what intuitive eating is. That's what I went into it thinking, like, I need to heal my relationship with food. Like, that's what I need to do. And so that's what intuitive eating did. I wasn't, you know, going into it thinking I wanted to have that hourglass figure anymore. Like, I let go of those thoughts because I was like, I need to just fix my relationship with food. And that's exactly what happened. And I got a lot of questions asking me, like, how do you have the body you do? Like, intuitive eating made you lose weight. Because I was working out 7 days a week. Like, if you watch my video, I said I had a very toxic relationship with the gym. I was not being nice to my body when I was eating intuitively. So it's been like a work in process. Like, intuitive eating isn't necessarily linear. I wasn't intuitive living. So if you haven't watched my video, go watch that so you can like get the little background of my story. But yeah, so I was working out like 7 days a week. I wasn't giving myself rest. So obviously I was burning off all the fuel I was putting in. But now I'm at a place where I eat what I want. I eat intuitively. I do crave whole foods. I do crave also things like Oreos. And I'm just learning to not be strict on myself, but to, you know, think about my long-term health. That's why whole foods, they're good. They're great. They're great, and you can make so many good recipes with whole foods. Like, follow my account if you're not. So yeah, I just wanted to clear that up, that intuitive eating does not necessarily mean weight loss, and it does not necessarily mean weight gain. Like, it looks different for everyone. This is just my story, what I went through. That's what I'm sharing with you guys, and that's just something I wanted to clarify. Are you in maintenance, bulking, or still in a deficit? Girl, I am just living life. I'm not worried about losing weight, gaining weight. I'm just happy with where I'm at right now. But I do want to just say that if you want abs, go for it. You know, like, it doesn't need to, like, losing weight shouldn't be like seen as a bad thing. If you want to lose weight, go for it. But make sure the reason is for you and no one else. Like, make sure it's for you and not to please anyone, and to be healthy if, you know, you don't feel healthy. And same thing with gaining weight. Like, if you want to gain weight, get some muscle, go for it, girl. Like, get it, get those gains, but do it for you. That's it. Do it for you. Right now, I feel the happiest and most confident in my body with where it is right now. So like I said, I'm just living. I'm just doing what feels good at the gym, and that's that. What's the number one thing that helps you quit binging? Eating intuitively, literally, like allowing those foods that I was restricting all the time back into my diet. And then I didn't feel the need to binge anymore. How do you deal with overeating? Okay, so this road has not been easy. Like, overeating happens a lot, whether you are celebrating or you are emotionally eating, which I tend to do a lot. Like, it's okay, and what I try and remind myself is, like, this feeling won't last forever, like, it's a temporary feeling, and I give myself grace. Ways to cope after a binge. So for me, what helped me the most, I would say, like, after binging, would be to just eat normal the next day. Like, don't restrict again, because then the cycle's just gonna keep going and going and going. If you just eat normally the next day, like, you know, listen to your hunger cues and like eat normal meals, you won't feel as hungry at night or the need to binge as much, maybe, if you restrict it. That's like what really helped me stop binging. Some foods are totally and completely bad for your health. Why do you say they are fuel? I get this. Like, obviously there's foods that are less nutritionally dense for you, and thinking about your long-term health, there's things that cause diabetes and all the heart problems. I get it, but But I say that all food is fuel because no food is inherently good or bad. But for people who are in eating disorder recovery, or just like trying to heal their relationship with food, I feel like those words are just so powerful that like all food is fuel. Like when it comes to it, an Oreo or a bag of chips or a donut is better than starving yourself. So yeah, I'm gonna eat that donut. Yeah, you know, like that's kind of my, can this car not back up on me? So yeah, that's why like I refer to all foods as fuel, because diet culture has put down so many foods as being bad, just like labeling foods as bad, which I think really messes up with your brain and causes you to restrict and causes eating disorders. And like, it's just food, bro. It's not that serious. Yes, it's important to eat the more nutritious foods that, you know, will help you for your long-term health, but it's also to think about your mental health, baby girl. Like, if you want that Oreo, go get that Oreo. You gotta keep your mental health in check by treating yourself, right? Am I right? How do you deal with bad body image days? Honestly, the biggest game changer for when I'm feeling not confident and just not myself is by practicing gratitude. So when I have those days, what I try and do is I'll journal about all my favorite things about myself. For example, after a weekend of drinking and eating pizza and, you know, overeating a little bit, and in the morning when I like don't feel as confident or like just don't feel myself, I'll just write down all the things that I'm grateful for about my body, that my body does for me. So I'll like thank my arms for driving me places and my legs for taking me places. It honestly just comes down to gratitude for me. That's like really what helps me. Gratitude has just honestly changed my life. We can get into that in another video. But did you ever lose your period to food restrictions? Yes, I did. I was, again, overworking myself at the gym and not feeling my body in the correct way at some point. So I did lose my period, and the way I did get it back was, again, this could be different for anyone else, but this is what worked for me. I had maca powder. I added that into my smoothies, my oats every single day. Maca is really good for balancing hormones, so that helped me a lot. And I also stopped working out as like high intense, so I would do more yoga, long walks, stuff like that to just help my body get back in tune. What was the hardest part of transitioning to living and eating intuitively? I think for me, it was accepting the fact that gaining weight is not a bad thing. Like, kind of retraining my brain, like, bro, like, skinny doesn't necessarily mean beautiful. Obviously, there's skinny girls who are beautiful, but there are larger girls who are absolutely stunning. Like, why are you so scared of gaining weight? I think that just has to do with trauma and obviously society standards, but I think I just like retrained my brain to like really just focus on health. Like, your health is what is gonna keep you alive, is what's gonna keep you, you know, happy in the long term. So if you gain some weight, girl, relax, like, relax. And it was hard. It's not easy, like, especially in today's world, being like, if I gain weight, I'll be okay. Like, that wasn't hard for me, or that wasn't easy for me. Like, it took a while for me to like get to that point, but I did. And even, let's say, like, if I gained weight now, because my weight fluctuated a lot during quarantine, that honestly probably other people wouldn't notice, because as a skinny girl, you know, you don't notice the 5 pounds that I do. Like, I think that's another thing I wanted to point out, because I've had a lot of people say, like, you're so skinny, like, when you like gain weight, like, you were still skinny. But at the same time, I've been skinny my whole life. Like, I feel like that's been my identity. And when I did gain weight, oh, it hit me like a pile of bricks, because I was a skinny girl, and now that I was, you know, 10 to 20 pounds heavier, I did not look or feel like myself anymore. So it did affect me mentally, and I feel like you just can't judge someone by their size. Like, I still struggled with binging, I still struggled with orthorexic thoughts. Like, this is just something I've been wanting to say, is just because you're smaller doesn't mean you can't struggle with body dysmorphia. Like, body dysmorphia is a real thing that a lot of people struggle with, no matter what size they are. I don't know, I just feel like a lot of people assume that just because I was like skinnier and I wasn't obese, you can't judge someone by their size. Like, it's all mental. Just keep that in mind for like the smaller people, like the skinnier girls. Like, just because you can't like clearly see that someone is like overweight or a little bit bigger does not mean they're not struggling. Were any of your friends body conscious, which made it hard for you? Yes, absolutely there were, and they're no longer in my life.
Bye, Felicia.
No, I'm kidding. Well, there is one. So when I started my journey into like intuitive eating, just like prioritizing my overall health, I started being more like conscious of my friend group and who was making me feel more body conscious, and like always made me feel like I had to compare my body to other people's, and who's always like, there's one person who was always like name calling other girls and their body type, and I was just like, why am I friends with you, bro? Why am I friends with you? Not friends with her anymore. But I really do think like just being aware of like how your friends treat food and just like overall body appearance is important, because whoever you surround yourself with is like basically who, you know, you're a reflection of. At least that's how I am. Like, the people I have in my life right now today are like some of the healthiest people I've ever been around, because I found out that those are the people I wanted in my life. So yeah, my friend group has definitely changed since I've started prioritizing my mental health, my physical health, all of that. But yeah, like, I get a lot of DMs, like, I have, you know, people in my life who constantly make me feel like I have to compare and just like feel like I have to restrict to like fit the body type. And usually what I'll just say to that is like, okay, either get them out of your life. I'm sorry, but like, cutting people off who aren't good for your mental health is not a bad thing. And if you don't want to cut them off, then just make sure you're telling them how they're making you feel. Communicate, maybe distance yourself a little bit. I don't know, I just feel like surrounding yourself with like people that match your vibe and your energy is so important, especially like growing into adults. Like, right now is like prime time to like really establish who you are, who you want to be, who you want to surround yourself with. And I think that that's why, like, mentally I'm the best I've ever been, because of the people I'm surrounding myself with. Like, my mental health has not always been as good as it is right now, and it was because I was surrounding myself with toxic ass people. This is the biggest question yet. How do I start eating intuitively? So the first thing I would say is just try and forget about all the rules diet culture has taught you about eating, whether that's not eating past 7 p.m., not eating before a workout, only eating this and not eating that, like all of the rules. I know it's so hard to forget, like, trust me, even now it's still in the back of my head, but just try and reject that mentality. Try and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna listen to my body today, and I don't care, because my body is not gonna change overnight, 1, and 2, I'm prioritizing me. I'm prioritizing me and my health, and if I want carbs for breakfast and carbs for lunch, listen to your body. That was a big one for me. It would be like, you know, I would have oats for breakfast, and then I'd have like, you know, something really small for lunch, because I like had oats for breakfast. But what I'm learning is that, like, just because I had oats for breakfast doesn't mean I'm not gonna want like a big Sammy for lunch. Like, you know, just really trying to get in touch with your hunger cues is like what helped me. At first, when I started eating intuitively, my hunger cues were all over the place, because I had rejected them for so long, and it was hard to like get in tune with my hunger cues. But just being mindful, being present with my food, with my thoughts, and again, just making the conscious daily choice to reject diet culture rules is what really helped me step into intuitive eating, intuitive living. Maybe even trying foods that you have restricted in the past. Just try and remember that like intuitive eating looks different for everyone. Just because I say, why is my phone like spasming? Just because I say I eat 80-20 does not mean you need to. This is just what works for me. If you want to try it, go for it. But it might not work for you. You might, you know, not crave Whole Foods all the time. I don't know. This is just what works for me. I'm not trying to pressure anyone to eat the way I do. This is just what works for me. But when I'm at home, the foods that I crave are things like avocado toast and oatmeal and smoothies. Like, those are the foods that make me feel immaculate. So yeah, like for me, intuitive eating is like honoring your cravings. Yes, like every morning I honor my cravings, because every morning I crave a smoothie or oats. Like, I genuinely crave those foods right when I wake up. Just try and find the foods that you look forward to eating on a daily basis. Get experimental in the kitchen. Find some Pinterest recipes you want to try. Like, that's what I did. That's how I started. I was like, okay, how do I want to eat? What is gonna feel good? What is gonna satisfy my cravings? And I found those foods, and now I eat them every single day. And that's just what works for me. What was your biggest fear food? Your girl's got a lot, let me tell ya. But I would say just like overall, the biggest thing for me was overcoming high sodium foods and like sugar, like added sugar, all of that. Those were like the things that like really scared me and terrified me every time I checked the label. Or yeah, so yeah, things like pizza, milkshakes, regular ice cream, all of that, which are foods that I've now incorporated back into my life, and I miss them so much. They are great. I feel the best I ever have with balance. Like, I don't eat them every day, but I eat them every now and then, and it's a great time. How did you develop self-control to stop eating when you're full? I would say the number one thought I think of when, like, you know, I'm overeating is, how do I want to feel tomorrow morning? Like, usually when I overeat and the next morning, I don't feel good. Like, I just don't feel my best. I'm learning to, like, you know, give myself grace on those days. But when I am, like, presently overeating, I'll tell myself, how do you want to feel tomorrow morning? Because when I'm in the morning, like, I don't feel productive the next day. It just puts me off to a rough start. And so yeah, basically the number one thought that always comes to my brain is, how do you want to feel the next day? Because I'm addicted to just like being productive and feeling good. Like, I'm addicted to feeling good. I don't want to feel crappy the next day. But then again, I'm just being honest here, I do overeat every now and then, and I will just, you know, give myself grace, make it easy. Don't beat myself over it like I usually would. What is going on with my phone? And another thing is, like, after I'm done eating a meal and I like feel pretty full, I'll like stop eating for like 20 minutes and I'll like wait, because like I'll wait for my food to digest a little bit, and if I'm still hungry after those 20 minutes, I'll have another snack or another serving, whatever. But that's what's really helped me, honestly, is just like, you know, finishing my meal, and then like waiting a little bit. I'm just saying 20 minutes, but like a good amount of time. And then sometimes I'll just be like, okay, yeah, like I'm full. Or I'll be hungry. I'll be like, all right, round 2, round 3, let's go. But yeah, that's how I've like gotten in tune with like my fullness. What are some practical steps you took to recover? Some practical steps I took to recover was I stopped counting calories. I stopped checking the scale. I obviously like knew subconsciously what most like things were calorie wise, like protein bars and nut butters, and you know, once you like start memorizing all of that, it's hard to just like forget about it. But something that did help me was when I like would try a new snack, I wouldn't look at the calories. I would just like look to see if it looked good, and that takes a lot of self-control to just like not flip it back. But that's just something that I did to help with the calories. And then another thing that helped me in my recovery which I'm still honestly doing, is ordering things off a menu that don't have calories, like don't say how many calories each thing is, because I'm like, okay, that looks good. I don't know how many calories it has, but it looks good, and I'm just gonna eat it. And then you just don't know, and it's great. Another thing I did was a social media clean out. Like, I went through who I was following and be like, are they really good for my mental health? Like, are they really good? Yeah, I unfollowed a lot of people, which was very necessary. Should have done it way sooner, but definitely recommend to just like do a little clean out, little detox in your social media following. Like, who is making you want to go on Instagram rather than be like, oh, okay, another photo of that, okay, you know. Just following like people that make me feel good and want to do better and be better for myself and for the world. How many days a week do you work out? Honestly, it varies. Right now it's like 3 to 5. Yeah, 3 to 5. How did you get past being obsessed with the way your body looks? Because I realized that gaining weight isn't a bad thing. Like, everybody is beautiful, everybody is a beach body, period. I don't care what man says that it isn't. Like, bye. No. It's all about how you feel confident, okay? Like, that's just what it comes down to. I feel the most confident when I'm feeling strong and fueled by honoring my cravings. That's literally it. Like, that's literally, I feel the healthiest I've ever been. I would never, ever, ever want to go back to the place mentally I was when I was restricting, because I just was not happy at all. Like, I was miserable. But yeah, like, sometimes it's healthy to gain weight, you know? Like, gaining weight isn't a bad thing. It's not a terrible thing. It's a beautiful thing. And I think that we just need to like retrain our brains to know that like everybody is a beautiful body. Everybody is a beach body. We are all beautifully, wonderfully made. We're all so unique. Like, just embrace your uniqueness and live for you. Live intuitively. How do you intuitively eat without binge eating? So something that's helped me is just like honoring my cravings through all times of the day, because when I was binging, I was usually doing that late at night, and so what would happen is I would restrict myself all day, and then at night I would go ham. And then to reverse that, what I started doing was I'd have lunch, and then if I was craving something sweet, I'll have a piece of chocolate or a few cookies, whatever, which like is something I would never do, you know, when I was dealing with binge eating and all that and restriction. I would never have, you know, a cookie in the middle of the day because it would ruin my progress, right? No, it does not. I have, honestly, like, my sweet tooth comes at all times of the day, so I will just like have a cookie after my lunch or a piece of chocolate, whatever. Because then, you know, when night comes around, I don't feel the urge to just go ham in the kitchen, because I already satisfied my craving. Like, I already did that. And if I want, you know, a cookie at night, I'll have a cookie at night. It's just like, it doesn't need to be all at once. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're allowed to have a cookie in the middle of the day. You're allowed to have a freaking donut for breakfast if you want. Like, just do you. There was this one time when I was in my like intuitive eating journey where I went to San Diego like by myself, and I challenged myself to go to this place and have donuts for lunch, which is something I would never do, especially in the middle of the day. Like, have donuts for lunch? No thanks. Straight up sugar and carbs, like, no. But I did. I went to this place. It was really good in San Diego. I forget what it's called, but it was like right before COVID, and I went and I had 4 donuts for lunch, okay? Ate them all up. So good. Was I like full after? Yes, I was full. But did my body change overnight? No. Did my mental health peak? Yes. No, that was honestly like a huge moment for me, just because like it's something that I would never do. And I learned that like it's just food. It's just food. And why was I fearing it for so long? And I think that just like challenging those fear foods is like really what's helped me the most, is just like being like, you know what, I'm gonna eat this today at this time of day. Something I wouldn't normally do, but I'm gonna challenge myself with that. I do that every single day. Like even the littlest things that you guys wouldn't even, you know, think that are like fear foods, or like that I'm challenging myself, like I challenge myself every single day, and it makes this whole process a lot easier. It makes living intuitively, you know, so much more worth it, because I'm just listening to my body and I'm the healthiest I've ever been. Alright guys, this video has been long enough now. My energy is slowly evaporating. But I hope I answered some of the bigger questions. I know you guys sent in a lot. I'm sorry I did not get to all of them. But if you guys want me to do more of these, I can. I want to start vlogging more now that like I have my story out there. You guys know my journey. I really wanted to get that out there and then start vlogging. Do more day in the lives, what I eat in a day. Comment below more stuff you want to see from me. I love you guys so much. Like, thank you for all the amazing feedback on my last fitness journey video. It honestly, like, I feel so much more connected to you guys now that you like know my story, like from beginning to end, and like where I'm at now. And it's just like I just love you guys. Honestly, I love you guys so much. I want this place to be a safe place for you to come. Yeah, I'm here for you. So we're in this together. If no one's told you yet, here we go. You are worthy. I hope this answered some of your questions, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Food is fuel. Like this video if you liked it. Follow my Instagram so you can stay up to date with me, get the exclusive content. And I love you. I'll see you soon. I'll see you in my next video. Mwah, mwah, mwah.